The problem we solve today is simple. Why do so many people, despite their talent and effort, remain behind? It is because they hesitate where others cheat. They pause where others strike. I will show you how to always be ahead of others, even if it requires you to break the rules, for victory belongs not to the righteous, but to the relentless. In a world where every man seeks to rise, only a few reach the summit. Why? Because while most play by rules, the cunning rewrite them. You have been told that honesty leads to greatness, that fairness builds strength. Yet history tells another story. The kingdoms that survived, the rulers who prevailed, the merchants who grew empires, all had one thing in common. They were willing to do what others would not. You believe the world rewards goodness. You believe if you play fair, work hard, and stay honest, you will be recognized. But I tell you this, the world does not bow to virtue, it kneels to strength. Men pretend to value morality, yet when faced with hunger, ambition, or danger, they abandon it faster than a sinking ship. It is survival that rules mankind, not morality, and those who fail to see this truth are destined to be ruled by those who do. In every kingdom, every company, every competition, there are those who dream and those who act. The dreamers speak of fairness, of justice, of doing what is right. The actors, however, know that life is not a moral contest. It is a battlefield of cunning and endurance. While the moral man debates what should be done, the survivor acts upon what must be done. When I, Niccolò Machiavelli, observed the rise and fall of princes, I saw a pattern that has not changed to this day. The merciful rulers, those who sought to be loved rather than feared, fell first. The honest ones, who revealed their plans openly, were betrayed. The generous, who gave too freely, were devoured by greed. But those who acted without hesitation, those who understood that the laws of survival are cruel, they endured, they ruled, they conquered. Understand this: morality is a costume men wear to disguise their hunger for power. It is a language the weak use to restrain the strong, and if you speak that language too sincerely, you will soon find chains around your wrists, placed there by those who claim to be righteous. Look around, even in your modern world, where do the powerful sit? They are not saints. They are not philosophers. They are men who learned to bend morality until it served their will. When two wolves fight for the same prey, do you think one stops to consider fairness? When empires clash, do you believe treaties and noble words matter more than strategy and deception? Morality is only honored when it costs nothing. The moment survival is threatened, even the most virtuous man reveals his true nature, and it is never gentle. I tell you, to stay ahead, you must learn to see morality as a tool, not a cage. Use it when it benefits you, discard it when it weakens you. Speak of virtue when it earns you trust, but never let it blind your instincts. The world expects you to be civil, kind, and predictable, and that is precisely why you must not be. Because those who live by rigid codes of goodness are easily outmaneuvered by those who adapt. Think of it this way: a lion who refuses to hunt because he pities the gazelle will starve. The gazelle, who believes the lion will spare him, will die. Both are lost to nature because neither accepted reality as it is. Survival belongs to those who understand nature's cruelty and learn to master it. So too, in human affairs, only those who balance cunning with courage rise above. You will be told that power without morality is dangerous. And perhaps it is, but morality without power is useless. What value is goodness if it leaves you weak, voiceless, and forgotten? The strong shape morality to justify their rule, while the weak suffer beneath it, pretending it is virtue. A ruler must be willing to step beyond the boundaries of moral comfort if he wishes to secure his future. Consider the merchant who cheats to gain advantage. If he prospers, the same people he deceived will later call him shrewd. Consider the leader who lies to keep his nation stable. History will not remember the lie. It will remember the peace. The measure of a man is not whether he plays fair, but whether he wins the game that others were too afraid to play. Survival demands flexibility, and morality is rigid. It binds your hands while your enemies sharpen their knives. Those who refuse to bend will break. and those who refuse to cheat will be cheated. To remain ahead, you must learn to balance appearance with intent. Show the world your virtue, but act with your survival in mind. Speak the words they want to hear, while doing what must be done behind closed doors. The masses crave comfort in illusion. Give it to them while you take what is yours. Remember, the world is not a temple. It is a chessboard. And every piece on it, from the lowly pawn to the mighty king, moves not by prayer, but by strategy. If you wish to ascend, do not wait for fairness to guide your path. Fairness is a myth told to those who will never rule. The true ruler knows that when morality and survival collide, the choice is already made, for it is not the good who survive, it is the cunning who endure. There is a silent truth that governs all human affairs. Honesty may win hearts, but deception wins wars. The man who masters the art of deception walks, unseen through the corridors of power, bending events in his favor, while others stumble in the light of their own sincerity. You must understand, truth is a weapon only when it serves your purpose. When it does not, conceal it, distort it, or bury it beneath a smile. Those who cannot deceive are doomed to be deceived. Every age has praised honesty, but every age has been ruled by liars. The people demand truth, yet they follow whoever can convince them most skillfully, not whoever is most honest. The crowd is not wise, it is emotional, easily led by illusion. To control them, you must not speak to their logic but to their desire. They do not want the truth. They want comfort, hope, and a vision that flatters them. Give them that, and they will defend your lies as if they were sacred truths. When I served in the courts of Florence, I saw rulers fall not because they were cruel, but because they were predictable. A man who reveals everything he thinks becomes a map in the hands of his enemies. But a man who hides his intentions creates fear, curiosity, and respect. The unknown is power, and deception is the art of crafting the unknown so skillfully that even those closest to you cannot guess your next move. You must learn to wear masks, not one but many. Each mask is a tool, one for trust, one for charm, one for humility, one for authority. The weak wear one face and call it virtue. The wise wear many and call it survival. To deceive effectively, you must first master the art of appearing sincere. Speak gently, look people in the eyes, promise them loyalty, and let them feel understood. Let them believe they have your heart, while in truth, you have only studied theirs. Deception is not merely lying, it is architecture. You build structures of belief around others, guiding them where you want them to go, without their awareness. You shape their perception, you feed them fragments of truth, so they never suspect the greater illusion. The most dangerous deceiver is not the one who invents stories, but the one who tells just enough truth to make the lie believable. Look around you. Every successful politician, every powerful general, every great businessman is a master of this craft. They never show all their cards. They speak of honesty and transparency, yet every word is calculated. They smile while making deals that would horrify those who trust them. But when they win, the world calls them strategic. That is the hypocrisy of mankind. It condemns deception when it fails, but worships it when it succeeds. You must learn to deceive with purpose, not with greed. A liar who deceives for pleasure destroys himself, but a strategist who deceives for control becomes untouchable. If you wish to rule, you must learn when to be honest and when to be silent. Honesty has its moment, when it strengthens your reputation, when it disarms suspicion, when it wins a useful ally. But once honesty threatens your position, it becomes a weakness to be shed like a snake's old skin. Never underestimate the power of illusion. A man who appears kind can rule the cruel. A man who appears weak can strike hardest when underestimated. The greatest deception is not to hide your strength, but to make others believe you have none. Let them mock you, doubt you, pity you. And when they sleep soundly in false security, you strike. That is the art of ruling, not through force, but through foresight. Understand that deception is not a single act. It is a lifelong discipline. It requires patience, observation, and silence. Speak less than you think, reveal less than you know, and promise more than you intend to deliver. Each promise binds others closer to you, while you remain free. Each lie, if crafted well, becomes a chain around their own mind. For deception is not only about words, it is about control. You are not deceiving their eyes, you are commanding their belief. When you control what others believe, you control their choices. And when you control their choices, you no longer need to fight. They move exactly where you want them to go. The best deceiver does not push men, he leads them willingly into his trap, making them think it was their own decision. Those who despise deception do so because they fear it. They lack the intellect and courage to wield it. But you must not share their fear. You must embrace deception as the invisible thread that binds your destiny. For in every battle, whether of politics, love, or ambition, the one who hides his intention the longest, the one who reveals least and understands most, is the one who walks away with victory, while others are still wondering what went wrong. In this world, truth does not rule, perception does. Men live not by what is real, but by what they believe to be real. And he who commands belief commands power. You must understand this. The secret to staying ahead is not to be virtuous, but to appear virtuous, not to be just, but to appear just, not to be good, but to appear good. The illusion of virtue is more valuable than virtue itself. For the masses judge with their eyes, not with their understanding, and few have the wisdom to see beyond appearances. Imagine a ruler who commits 1,000 cunning deeds in darkness, but presents himself to the world as a man of mercy, discipline, and honesty. His people will love him, his enemies will respect him, and even when he betrays, they will excuse his actions as necessary or misunderstood. Why? Because they believe the illusion he built. Control what others see, and you control how they think. Control how they think, and you control how they act. This is the foundation of power. When I observed princes rise and empires fall, I saw a pattern that never failed. Those who built their strength on perception endured longer than those who relied on truth. Truth is fragile. It can be turned against you, but illusion is elastic. It bends with circumstance. It evolves with your needs. To rule through illusion is to play God in the minds of men. You decide what they see, what they fear, what they love. And when their reality bends to your design, resistance becomes impossible. The wise do not reveal their nature. They shape it according to what is required. If people crave a hero, become their savior. If they crave justice, become the image of law. If they crave security, speak of peace while you strengthen your power in silence. The people do not need truth. They need comfort. Give them comfort, and they will never question your control. To master illusion, you must understand that image is stronger than substance. A reputation of virtue will shield you more effectively than 1,000 armies. A single act of mercy, performed under the right light, can erase 100 ruthless deeds. A smile in public can disguise your sharpest betrayal. The key is consistency. The illusion must be fed constantly, like a flame that cannot be allowed to fade. One careless word, one visible crack, and the illusion begins to die. So guard it with obsession. Let others boast of their honesty and reveal their hearts. You must learn to hide yours behind a perfect mask. The mask of sincerity is the most powerful weapon in a world that worships appearances. The people must never see the machinery behind your rule. The calculations, the deals, the manipulations. Show them only the performance, the noble gestures, the righteous words. Behind the curtain, do what must be done. But before the audience, play your role to perfection. Even those who suspect you will hesitate to act, because illusion creates doubt. When you appear virtuous, your enemies are unsure whether their suspicions are justified. That hesitation is your armor. Deception may spark rebellion, but illusion disarms it. People rarely rebel against those they believe are acting for their good. And when they finally see the truth, it will be too late. Your power will already be secured, your rule already cemented in their dependency. You must remember, power exists not in actions but in impressions. Men are simple in this way. They see the surface and assume it is depth. You may be ruthless, but if you speak of justice, they will call you fair. You may be cruel, but if you show kindness once, they will call you merciful. You may be manipulative, but if you promise progress, they will call you visionary. Illusion, when properly managed, is the most efficient lie. It requires no constant defense, because people will defend it for you. The clever man does not fight to prove his innocence. He makes others believe it was never in question. He does not announce his virtues. He allows them to be whispered in admiration. He does not declare his greatness. He lets others do it for him. To control the illusion is to plant the seeds of perception in every mind around you, until they grow into a truth that serves your will. In politics, in leadership, even in the smallest games of human ambition, illusion is your currency. A man who can shape how others perceive him has already won half the battle. The rest is merely performance. And remember, when people believe in your illusion, they will defend it even when confronted with undeniable truth. They will deny their own eyes to preserve their faith in you. That is the ultimate form of control. Not through chains, not through threats, but through belief. Those who seek to expose truth believe they are brave. In reality, they are naive. They think men desire reality, but men cannot bear it. They crave symbols, faces, and stories, illusions that give meaning to chaos. If you can provide those illusions, you will never need to explain yourself. They will follow, even into ruin, convinced you lead them to glory. So do not waste your strength trying to make the world understand who you truly are. Instead, craft who you must appear to be. In the theater of power, the one who controls the illusion controls the world, and the audience will applaud, even as the walls of truth crumble around them. In every age, men have asked the same question: what is right and what is wrong? But those who rule the world do not ask that question. They ask only this: did I win or did I lose? For when you win, your actions are rewritten as strategy. When you lose, they are condemned as evil. Power determines morality, not the other way around. This is the brutal truth that separates rulers from subjects, conquerors from the conquered. You may be told that virtue leads to greatness, that good intentions bring reward, but look at history. Look at every throne, every empire, every nation that stands today. It was not built by saints. It was built by men who understood that success washes away the stains of their sins. The people forgive the victor because they need his strength to believe in. The loser, no matter how noble, is forgotten, buried beneath the weight of failure. The world has no loyalty to morality. It worships results. The one who delivers victory writes the law, defines justice, and dictates what is right. His enemies become villains, his crimes become necessity, and his deceptions become wisdom. To live ahead of others, you must think like a ruler, not a servant of ideals. You must see that morality is a luxury for those who have already secured power. Until then, it is a shackle meant to keep you weak. When I observed princes rise, I noticed that none of them rose through purity. They rose through cunning, through boldness, through the willingness to act when others hesitated. The timid ruler, bound by conscience, becomes prey to those who are not. There are moments in every life when one must choose between appearing good and being effective. The choice must always be effectiveness. A good man who fails is not remembered as good. He is remembered as weak. The harsh truth is this: people judge outcomes, not intentions. If your actions succeed, they will invent noble reasons to justify them. If you fail, they will curse you even if you meant no harm. So act not for approval but for victory. Once you hold power, the same people who condemned you will kneel before you and call your ruthlessness courage. Success is the great cleanser. It rewrites perception, reshapes morality, and silences judgment. Consider this: when a ruler deceives his enemies to protect his state, he is praised as brilliant. When a general sacrifices thousands to win a war, history calls him heroic. But if they fail, the same acts become monstrous. What changed? Not the action itself, only the outcome. The world is a courtroom where victory is the only defense. The verdict always favors the winner. To survive in this world, you must understand that the path to greatness is rarely clean. There will be lies told, promises broken, alliances betrayed. But these are not sins. They are tools. The man who hesitates out of guilt loses to the one who acts with purpose. Morality can be reclaimed after victory, but defeat cannot. The living can justify anything. The dead justify nothing. It is better to be feared for your strength than pitied for your kindness. It is better to rule through strategy than fall through honesty. You do not owe the world purity. You owe yourself triumph. Let others play by rules written to keep them small. You must learn to see beyond them. There is no honor in losing nobly when you could have won cleverly. Think of the lion and the fox. The lion uses force, the fox uses deceit. The ruler who survives must be both. Strength alone will destroy you when you face a smarter enemy. Cunning alone will fail when confronted by force. Together, they form the perfect strategy. Ruthless enough to conquer, wise enough to endure. Those who cling to one and reject the other are destined to be devoured by those who embrace both. The weak man hides behind morality to excuse his inaction. He says, "I could not betray," or "I could not deceive," and he comforts himself with the illusion of being good. But goodness without power is a silent virtue. It changes nothing, protects no one, and dies with the man who holds it. The strong man acts and then allows morality to follow him. He understands that history will not record his doubts, only his results. Every empire, every dynasty, every great revolution was driven not by virtue but by ambition. The men who forged them did not ask for permission. They acted, and the world adapted to their will. What the weak call immoral, the powerful call necessary. What the weak call betrayal, the powerful call strategy. The difference between disgrace and glory is written by the victor's hand. So when you act, act with purpose. When you strike, strike to win. When you deceive, deceive for control, not chaos. Those who hesitate to do what must be done will spend their lives serving those who never hesitated. For in this world, no one asks whether the winner cheated. They only ask how he did it. And those who survive understand that the only true sin is to lose when you could have won. Power is not granted to the righteous. It is taken by the relentless. You live in a world that rewards appearance over truth, cunning over honesty, control over compassion. The weak cling to morality as a shield, the strong wield deception as a sword. You have learned that survival demands strategy, that illusion commands loyalty, and that victory, once achieved, purifies all sins in the eyes of men. Those who remain bound by fairness will forever serve those who are not. The cunning few, those who see the game for what it is, will shape nations, rewrite laws, and turn even their enemies into tools of their ascent. You must decide whether you wish to be among the ruled, or among the rulers, among the deceived, or among the deceivers, among the forgotten or among the victorious. For in the end, the world does not remember who played fairly, only who played to win.